Hello there, I'm Presley, and today I will be going over the events and giving my overall thoughts on episode 15 of the Bleach Thousand Year Blood War. Now, episode 15 is titled Peace from Shadows, which is the same title as chapter 547. And this episode of the anime covers 5 chapters from the manga, covering chapter 547 all the way to 551. Now, the episode opens up on a scene new to the anime of the Sternwitters having a meeting. And now, obviously, this was, before they, started their invasion, which they started at the very end of last episode, of course. And, we have all these Sternwitters sitting around this long table. We have Ugrum, Hashwolf at the head of the table, obviously. Then, of course, the opening theme plays, and after that, we pick up where we left off last episode, and we can see Kiyone and Sentaro running over to where Captain Uketake is to, inform him of what's going on. Then, of course, we cut over to Sunsui and Nanao, and from behind them speaks up Ugrum Hashwolf, who has arrived there. We quickly cut back over to Askin Naklavar, and he's currently talking, with the members of the Department of Development and Research. Then, of course, we also get another shot of Yuhabak and Uyu, with Yuhabak now sitting down on a chair, overlooking everything that's going on, with Uyu by his side. We see Ugrum and Sunsui talking some more, Obviously, these scenes are happening very quickly after one another. Then, of course, we cut back over to Askin as he's talking to the Department of Development and Research. Then, of course, we see a door just come out of nowhere. Then, of course, we see none other than Mayuri exit from the newly formed door. And, some members of the Department of Development and Research are obviously taken aback by his bold fashion choice. Because, it's not every day you see someone appear out of thin air dressed like the sun, of all things. But then, of course, we cut over to some members of the 10th Division. We see Basby. Basby's getting ready to launch an attack. And we then have Captain Hitsugaya and Lieutenant Renkiku Matsumoto show up. And, they, of course, inform the 10th Division members to fall back, to retreat for now, that they will handle this themselves. So, we're going back and forth for a bit. Hitsugaya is trying to put up a fight, but, Basby is breaking through his ice because, the ice is pretty thin. We cut over to Omaida, where we see him wondering what's going on. We see his little sister there with him, and, she's asking him not to leave her because, obviously she's a child and she is terrified over what's going on here. And, of course, Omaida states that, he has to leave because, he has to try and save everyone, which, of course, then BG9 shows up to where Omaida and his sister are. We get a comedic exchange between Renkiku and Hitsugaya. Of course, then we see Renkiku, use Hinako to unleash a thin layer of ash. And we then see Hitsugaya, of course, use his Zanpakuto to create a layer of ice. And of course, Basby attempts to, obviously melt it, However, it doesn't work, because Hitsugaya and Renkiku have kind of combined their powers with using Renkiku's ash and Hitsugaya's ice, to make vacuum ice. Of course, we see Hitsugaya unleash a attack of ice that sends Basby flying back, and for a moment there, they believe that they've taken Basby down, obviously. We cut back over to Sunsui and Ugrum talking. We see that Nanao has made a barrier to protect Sunsui from one of Hashwolf's attacks. And of course, Nanao explains that this barrier temporarily blocks out Quincy powers, and that she developed it after the first invasion. We then cut back over to Omaida, and we see him being stabbed by BG9. You know, BG9 is asking where Soifon is, and you know, Omaida states that he doesn't know, because you know, he doesn't know. You know, of course, after he doesn't give BG9 the answer he wants to hear, which is, you know, where Soifon is, because, you know, Omaida doesn't know, he then attempts to impale Omaida's younger sister, to which Omaida then shields her from the attack. And, you know, BG9 is about to kill both Omaida and his younger sister when Soifon appears. You know, she makes her entrance. And, you know, she unleashes her finalized version of her Shunko. And, you know, BG9 and Soifon exchange words for a bit, you know, before they start clashing, obviously. We cut back over to Askin and Mayuri. You know, Askin, after looking at Mayuri for a bit, ultimately states that, you know, he doesn't even want to waste his time trying to do anything to Mayuri. We cut back over to Hitsugaya, and we see that Basby is still alive. And of course, Hitsugaya tells Rangiku to, you know, move back. He tells her to, you know, kind of fall back a bit. And Hitsugaya puts up a barrier of ice, you know, to try and give him and Rangiku some time to get back. Of course, Basby then uses Burner Finger 1, where he shoots a blast of fire towards Hitsugaya, and it goes right through the ice, and it goes straight through Hitsugaya's chest. You know, we cut back over to BG9 and Soifon fighting. Soifon is trying everything she can to take him down, and you know, she's doing pretty good for a bit. However, then he does get the better of her. Of course, then he's able to impale Soifon's wrist, so you know, that's not good. We cut back over to Basby and Toshiro. We see Toshiro trying to get away from Basby. You know, we see where he's kind of put some ice over where he was, you know, shot through, obviously, you know, trying to, you know, take care of that until he can get away, obviously. Ultimately, Basby does catch up to him, and he ends up using Burner Finger 2, where he slashes at Hitsugaya, and we see it takes Hitsugaya down. You know, obviously not killing him, but, you know, he's down. He's on the ground. We then see Kang Do arrive, who of course tells Basby that, you know, he's going to be the one to finish this. So as this is happening, we cut back over to Mayuri, you know, and he's being told that they can't sense Soifon's and Hitsugaya's spiritual pressure anymore. Of course, then Mayuri gets a call, and it is from none other than Kisuke Urahara himself, and he informs Mayuri that he's figured out a way to restore the stolen bankais to the respective captains that lost theirs. Ending theme plays. However, that's not the end of the episode, because we do get a post-credit scene which shows Ichigo walking through this weird, you know, kind of specific place. I'm not sure what to technically call it. It's a path, and it leads up to this shrine entrance. And while we see Ichigo walking, we have Ichibei reading off this very specific poem. And I'd read it off for you, but I forgot to write it down before I started filming, and I cannot remember that all off the top of my head. I apologize. But you know, this is a new scene to the anime, and this is an interesting scene to see. Now, the ending poem for this episode is by Bambietta. Now, in terms of my overall thoughts, I thought that the fight between Basby and Hitsugaya, in terms of how the effects looked for like the ice and the fire, looked really good. I think that they looked really great. I really loved them. I love seeing Mayuri's sun outfit get animated. I mean, you could really say that he truly does brighten any room he walks into. I deeply apologize for that pun. That wasn't funny, I'm sorry. But yes, overall, I thought this episode was great. I'm very excited for next week's episode. Well, I guess this is where I'm going to end the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!